Hello, welcome to another Random Ramblings video. This time we're going to discuss our favourite classic Doctors.
By that we mean from the TV series Doctor Who.
Not people who've medically examined us historically. I like Patrick Troughton. Chris?
Probably should have put a bit more thought into it before we started. I really like Pertwee, genuinely.
There we go, that's it for this week on Random Ramblings. That's the joke I was going for, but you sort of ruined with your inability to think.
To think of a doctor. I like Pertwee. I like Baker, Colin Baker.
No.
And I like McCoy as well.
You like all the Doctors.
I like all of them. No, I do. But I think if I had to pick Pertwee.
What do you see? Pertwee's one of my least favourite Doctors because he was the Doctor that was like just unnecessarily sort of his time. They gave him karate. They gave him like red velvet. Like,
so what's wrong with that? What's wrong with being?
No, I like that. All the other Doctors feel timeless.
Oh, that's what you mean.
All the other Doctors feel timeless. They don't feel like they're from an era of such. Whereas I can really specifically place Jon Pertwee at a time he learned karate. It felt very
stuck on Earth.
Yeah, I understand, but it just.
Did he ever really go into space?
Yeah, his last season, I think.
Oh, okay.
His last season, I think he got to go off, and I think it was just his first season or two that he spent with the unit. But I mean, I don't mind his performance. He's a good actor. I think he's a great actor, and he brought a lot to the role. I just felt like there were some problems with his Doctor. I mean, sticking him on Earth and limiting him to that had problems in itself. Although it did lead to great episodes like Inferno, which I love to death. I think it's an amazing episode of Doctor Who, or story, because at the time episodes were chunks of one story.
Yeah. I mean the thing is it's one of those questions that could change week to week. But so this week, I think the reason that I like that is because I'm just thinking, because you're right, from a story point of view, Stuck on Earth has its issues, but actually from in terms of his performance, in terms of the characterization, I like that, because I almost associate off his time with also meaning, you know, he bounds around more than the other guys did. Well, Troughton did a bit of bounding, but you know, he feels like quite a modern Doctor.
He's action Doctor.
Yeah. He's
man of action, a James Bond version of the Doctor.
And I like that, and I like Bessie.
I don't like Bessie because Bessie couldn't be more of that. But I'll be honest with you, my biggest problem, I think, when I think about it properly, I think my biggest problem is actually just the violence. Like, this Doctor, I like my Doctor to solve things with his brain, not with a karate chop.
Did he solve a lot with a karate chop?
All the fucking time. He was like, chop this, chuck this guy over my shoulder. Honestly, he thought he was Jackie Chan. And let me tell you, he was no Jackie Chan.
He wasn't that. But he had
Jackie Chan, not a popular figure at that time. So he didn't think he was Jackie Chan. He thought he was Bruce Lee. Yeah.
He did, but he had a great relationship with Sarah Jane. He had a great relationship with the Master. The chemistry, like, do you know, among the best chemistry in stories.
I said it early on.
I
said it early on. I think he's a good actor. And his performance wasn't particularly a problem. I think it's just the way they were writing the Doctor at that time, and the way they dressed him. It leads into, and also not a great era in terms of the stories. I don't think many of my favourite episodes come from Pertwee's era. There are a handful of good ones, but I actually think that Sarah Jane had better chemistry with Tom Baker.
Really? I thought it was a bit more gentle and loving with Pertwee.
Yeah, it was, but the problem with it was that it's the same issue I sort of had with Matt Smith's Doctor and Clara, which is they felt like equals in the sense of, and I don't mean one superior to the other, I meant they both felt like normal human beings because of the way they interacted with each other. Whereas Sarah Jane with Tom Baker, he was alien. He felt alien. Yeah. She couldn't get you could feel
bit like Clara in 12.
Yeah, not having chemistry in some ways, in a certain sense, is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it creates this feeling that she's having to handle a different sort of being.
That's fair.
So I prefer her with, but I mean...
Why is Trout?
Yeah, I was going to say, because otherwise this video has just become 10 Reasons Dan doesn't think Jon Pertwee is the best Doctor, which is fine. It's not a bad idea for a video. We'll do that one later. In fact, we'll do that again, and we'll just put this first half of this one in there. But I think for me, what it comes down to for Troughton was he was the first to make the Doctor sweet. He was the first to give the Doctor heart.
There'd only been one other Doctor before.
I know, but that doesn't take anything away from what he did. I mean, they could have gone for another Doctor that was the same. That was a grumpy old man. They could have written him the same. It was the first time that they made they'd done the regeneration, and they did the smart thing of not just replacing the actor but making something basically the same, because they could have done that. The formula of the show was working. It was popular. It would have been so easy to hire just another actor who was an older actor, and throw him in there to be grumpy and the granddad character, and to be that figure. And they didn't. They went a different way with it. They thought, no, we've got this opportunity to sort of figure it out. And they, in that time frame, created this whole premise of each Doctor having individual sort of personality traits. And then on top of that, Troughton's performance is categorically the most effective performance of anyone from the early years of Doctor Who, in terms of what he manages to do is encapsulate all the things that all the Doctors trying to be now. He's sweet, but you don't cross him. He's intelligent, but he's also loving. He's everything that you sort of traits that you associate universally with the Doctor all come back to Troughton. And I think that,
but just because he was the original of that, does that make him the best?
Well, that's one reason. I mean, on top of that, I just think he had some of the best stories in that era. A lot of my favourite classic Doctor Who stories. I mean, you come back to like Invasion or Tomb of the Cybermen. I mean, War Games. Holy hell, War Games. I mean, these are incredible serials. I think that was just one of the best times for the show. And it helped that Troughton was such an amazing actor and brought all these great things that no one had done before to it. But it also helped that the stories were really good. And then the companions were great too. They had some really good companions in that time. Polly and obviously Jamie.
Jamie was great. Jamie doesn't get enough
credit. I forgot. Oh man, is it Zoe with the one in the spacesuit?
I think it was Zoe.
I'm gonna cut this bit out so I don't look stupid. No, so
who are your? So we won't go into detail about them, but I also love. I do love Tom Baker. Quite like Colin for the edginess, and I wish he'd got more of a chance to soften as per the plan.
And I wish he hadn't been forced into that costume.
The costume and all that stuff. And McGann as well. Yeah,
McGann, huge fan of McGann. Although there's debate whether you count him as a classic Doctor, as he came after the original run or not. But I would say so. I consider anything pre 2005 to be classic. Paul McGann, obviously one of the greatest Doctors ever. And that's it. Even more impressive with McGann, considering how little screen time he got. Obviously, a lot of love for me for William Hartnell. And I'll be honest with you, I think my second favourite, really, following Troughton, Davidson. Because, again, Caves of Androzani,
some incredible stuff. And also, again, it's weird, because you can point to an element of every classic Doctor and go, oh, that was the beginning of the modern. But Davidson as well was fun and was carefree.
But I think he took that from Troughton. I know that's often a common misconception. Peter Davison was the one who brought that out, but I think that came from Troughton. That came from Troughton. So there we go.
Big Troughton fan.
I love Troughton. And one of the reasons Matt Smith is one of my favourite modern Doctors is because his favourite Doctor was Troughton, and you could feel that, especially in his first season.
That first scene where he holds his head and he's like, something.
Yeah. He's just channeling Troughton all the way through it. So clearly I have a very particular vibe I like from my Doctors, and
that's the Troughton vibe.
And it's been encapsulated by all the Doctors in some ways since, Matt Smith more than others. But my cat just popping about. Hey Walt.
What's that, Walt?
Hey buddy. I don't know if he's on camera or not.
I don't think he is.
I don't think he is. I've referenced him needlessly.
So there you go.
That just looks like I'm wanking someone off screen at this point. I'm stroking my cat. That sounds worse. Stroking the pussy.
Oh, dude. I hate that word. Just doesn't sound.
So that's everything. We've. I'm cutting that.
I'm putting a face so that you have to keep it in.
Don't pull a face. Let's get it out. So that's our
Doctor Who ramble.
Doctor Who random ramblings. See you on the flip side. Can't pull that off.
We
need to find a better way to end these random ramblings.
Don't do that. That's like me and my quest to make Sweet Like Tropicana a thing. You are the only one. I've said that phrase or written that phrase to like 10 friends, and all of them have been like, "You have to stop trying to make this a thing." And you were like, "I love it. I'm gonna start saying it."
Yeah, why not?
Sweet like Tropicana.
Sweet like Tropicana. Which might not be a thing that's available in America, so we might have just confused 50% of our audience.
Google it.
It's a drink. You don't need to Google it. It's a drink. We can say
It's
it.
an orange. Yeah, it's an
Orange-based
drink.
That's quite sweet.
Hence, sweet like Tropicana.
Wow.